Hi, welcome to Jackie Burns Creations. Today I have 5 Fantastic Farmhouse DIYs. Project number 1. What I have is some eggs that I got at Easter from the Dollar Tree, and I'm spraying them with a little bit of olive oil spray. And now I'm going to put a little bit of plastic over them. I think I probably wouldn't have had to put the plastic over them, just the spray would have been fine, or just the plastic would have been fine. Now, this is material like they used to use on casts. It's plaster-infused gauze, and I got this from BB Craft. They have big rolls and shorter rolls, longer and shorter rolls. So what I did was I put about 3 layers on top of the halves of the eggs. Now I'm just cutting off the edges, and I let it dry overnight. Now this I found at the dollar store. It had beautiful flowers on it, but this really ugly heart, so I painted it gray, and I just went over it with a little bit of white to distress it. Now here is the egg after it dries. I let it dry for a couple of days, and I'm painting it a brown, like a brown egg. And this is one of the signs I got from Dollar Tree. It's already got the red arrow on it. Just painting that, and I'm flicking a little bit of the wax on there to give it some speckles. Okay, gluing down this sign. So you've seen these. These are in the hardware section. I picked it up one day not even knowing what I was going to do with it, because I knew I'd end up doing something with it. I always do. I think we all do that. Just think, wow, that's pretty neat. I know I can do something with it. So I'm taking some of the nautical rope, and I'm going to outline the sign. And if you haven't seen my glue gun before, it's a Sure Bonder, and it runs on batteries. And it lasts probably a good hour until I have to charge the batteries. And I bought 2 at once, so if one dies, I can be charging the other one. It looks heavy, but it really isn't. It's very lightweight, and I don't have to worry about it tipping over or anything. Love that glue gun. Okay, I got this little metal chicken at Hobby Lobby last time I went. It was a few bucks. And I'm putting some Jenga blocks on the back. Just taking that wax and distressing the edges a little bit. I don't want it too dark. Okay, just gonna glue this thing down too. Then I grab the egg. Putting a hanger on the back. You can see there's a sawtooth hanger. You can use that if you want, but I decided to put the rope. It looked more rusty to go with it. Now I cut fresh eggs out on my Cricut. Sorry, this is such an odd angle. I'm just getting used to filming with my overhead, I don't know, thingamadoob. And it made it go in vertical instead of horizontal. So when I fixed it, it just shows you really close up. But anyway, I got that put on, and I put 50 cents a dozen on the egg. And there it is, all finished. I think it came out cute. Okay, today is a Friend Friday hop. And you come along to see who's next. I'll have it in my description and in my messages. And it is sponsored by Heidi Sonboul DIY. If you haven't seen Heidi, I don't know where you've been, but you need to check her out. Project number 2. It's one of these little trinket cans. It's ceramic that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm using a glass writer on it from Dollar Tree. Yes, I do use a lot of things from Dollar Tree. I use things also from Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, but mostly Dollar Tree. So what I'm doing is it's got the raised area and I'm just going over the lines. This is just a super duper easy DIY. So you can see how I just went over the lines with that. And I had a gold bead I painted gold. And I found this cute little tassel among all my junk. And I thought, it contrasts enough, it'll look really cool. So I glued it to the top. And here's one of these wall clings. And it had these beautiful flowers on it and some bees. And I thought, ooh. And I liked bees before they became popular because I'm Jackie Bee. And I just put it on the front of there. And look how cute that looks. Adorable. Project number 3. Okay, this was a blue shovel I got at Dollar Tree, just in the kids' summer area. And I painted it with that hammered metal. And I'm just taking different paints, red, brown, a goldish color, and making it look rusted. You could also use cinnamon. Now this is the outdoor Mod Podge, and I'm covering it, but once it dries, let it dry for a couple of days, I would say. Get a really good dry on it. Once it dries, you need to spray like a polyacrylic, outdoor polyacrylic on it to get it to set, or it'll be really kind of tacky the whole time. Oh, I had some burlap ribbon with the lace and some burlap ribbon with some checked on the edge, and I'm making a cute bow for it. And I had that cute black ribbon with the farm animals on it and a sunflower. I wrapped the handle in twine. You didn't want to watch me do that. And I'm gluing that on. Fluffing. My favorite job, fluffing. And there it is, all done. I'll show you a picture of it hanging up. Can go on the door or inside. Project number 4. Now, I did a whole bunch at once, but I'm just showing you a couple that I did. I took some white chalk paint and a little bit of ink chalk paint, and I'm mixing them together, and I add some baking soda to them. And one I left it a little looser and painted. Oh, gotta get that label off of there. And I just kind of went all around this, but you'll see in the next one, I figured out that the pouncing method is the best. But in the second one, I add a little more baking soda to see if it makes any difference, and nah, it didn't. They both come out pretty rough. And after it dried, I used some black, and I used a natural sponge, and I just kind of sponged on a little bit of black, And then I used some white after that dried and sponged on a little bit of white, and it came out to look really like a stone, kind of like granite. Now here I'm doing the emblems on them. I used some air dry clay. And I also tried the air dry clay that comes from Crayola that Dollar Tree has. And you know what? I think the air dry clay from Dollar Tree is just as good as the more expensive. And I'm using an IOD stamp. This also applies for my 5th project. And I had a little cookie cutter so I could get a nice round shape. Or you could take a blade and cut around the edge. And I use my spatula to help get it up. And what you do is you put glue on it before it dries, and you put it on the item, and that way it dries with the right shape. Now I'm taking a little distressed ink, Tim Holtz distressed ink, and I'm using my paintbrush, and I'm just dipping my paintbrush on the ink pad and going around and distressing the medallion, I guess we would call it. And I could have used any color on it. But see how they look kind of granite, stone-like? Oh, and these were little yogurt, the little glass yogurt jars. Okay, project number 5. I had this great big jar that a friend gave me a long time ago, and I've been thinking about doing this for a long time, and so I finally thought this was a good chance to do it. So I'm painting, first you paint it with Mod Podge, and then I painted it with the chalk paint. That way it doesn't come off so easy. And I took one of the gray calendar pages, and I figured out, the whole thing won't fit on there. So I had to slice off different parts of the calendar page to make it fit. Well, I thought this would fit, and this still didn't fit, so I had to end up cutting things away from there. But then I made it all fit in different ways, and you'll see how I did this. Love my cutter. And so I just kind of cut around the bee and the garland that was on there. And I used the bee on one side and the honey on another side. And I liked this part, so I thought, I still need to cut that out. So I'm trimming it up. And I've still got another one of the signs that I could just make calendars that I could just make a sign out of it too. So I decided to try something different. I tried to put it on vinyl to see how it would work. So I used a little bit of tacky glue on the back and glue it down to the vinyl. Nope, that one was dry. Nope, that one was dry. Okay, now I got the tacky glue. Just spreading it out with my fingers. I see I wanted it to have the black edge on it, but then figured out it wouldn't fit all the way. So this is my scraper that I got from Plaid. It's from using on Mod Podge, and it worked great on the glue. Helps smooth it out. get the bubbles and the wrinkles out of it. I also got one of the squeegee rollers from them too, because I'm a representative now. So you can see how I cut that out. And I'm cutting out the honey. And I thought, well, maybe they would fit if I cut them separately. No, it still didn't fit. So I decided to put honey over there by the medallion. And see, I still had a little bit of black surrounding it on the side and the top. So I can actually display this jar any way I want to because it's on both sides. And if you can't get it off, just get a nice sharp pick or something to get it started. So then I decided, well, you know what? You can still fit on some of the other things. I like them made by nature. And I thought, I could put this on there. So I ended up putting some glue on it and put it on some vinyl. This vinyl was some I got at Target last fall, I think. It does work on the Cricut, but not quite as well as the Cricut brand. So I've been looking for the vinyl at Dollar Tree, but haven't found any. But I don't know. I'm giving it a second thought about whether it'll work well or not. So I'm cutting this out, and I'm cutting it so I have a little black edge on it. Taking another jar so keep it from rolling away. I'm trying to figure out where to put this one. And I decided, okay, I'll just cover all of this with Mod Podge. That way it'll help seal it in. Now I'm taking one of the stamps, the distressed ink stamps, and I'm going over my medallion. You can use those IOD stamps with ink or with the clay. They're really cool. Okay, so I decided the top needed something, and I have these coffee bags that my sister gave me, and they're real burlap, and boy, are they not easy to cut. It's just thick, and I had really sharp scissors, but not easy to cut. But I cut this out in a circle a little bigger than the lid, And I glued it down, and now I'm going to glue down some twine to go around it to hold it down really well. And you really do need the finger protectors when you're working with real burlap. But it's very stiff, and it's very thick, and it's very messy. I used it one other time in a Valentine I did a year ago. Not my favorite thing to work with. So now you can see them all done here. And I thank you for coming along on the hop. Like I said, the next person will be in the description, and I put it in the message too. So I hope you enjoy, everybody. There's some fantastic crafters on here. And I hope you come back and visit. Please subscribe, hit the bell to see what I'm doing next. And I will see you again real soon. Bye.